Let's talk about the payment calculator that we're going to use for part of this our exercise in the tutorial 3. It's going to be under the loan analysis worksheet. I want you to pull that up, take a look at that. This is a loan calculator. We're going to enter some numbers here, and we're going to ask Excel to figure out what my loan payment is based on these numbers there. Okay, this is one of those neat things. When I went to buy my first car in 1984 or 82, I walked into the dealership and the guy said, "What do you want to buy?" And I said, "Well, I don't really know yet, but I know that I can only afford $125 a month." So he gets his calculator out and he pops that in and he says, "Okay, you can afford an $8,000 car." And how they figured that out in 5 seconds, I don't know. Well, this is how they do it, and it's a lot easier nowadays. It's something that you can have, and you can figure out all your stuff that you want to figure out when it comes to home loans. We're going to use this later on, so you really have to make sure you understand that and listen to what I'm about to say, because there are times when I have lectured this to people and I have said, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this, and they say, yeah, I got it, and when they turn in their homework, they don't got it. Okay, so we're going to add in a couple things here. We're going to add in some hard numbers, and then we're going to add in some calculations. Okay, first thing it says to do is to add in step 2, 6% into B3. I just got to type in 6, and it's already in a percentage format. It's just formatted that way. It's a default, so there you go. Okay, number of payments per year. The average loan that you're ever going to have, you pay once a month, so therefore you pay 12 times a year. Okay, now here's the first part of this. Make sure you understand and you listen and you read my lips and listen to what I'm saying. Okay, when you talk about a loan payment, the interest rate per period, look at that, interest rate per period. Okay, this is not 6%. The 6% is the annual interest rate. Interest rate per period is the interest that built up from between one payment and the next payment. In this case, 12 per year. So therefore, the interest rate per period is going to be 1/12 of 6%. Okay. So it says in our book to go B3 divided by B4, and that's what I want you to do. But I want you to listen to me too. This is the other thing that people, I don't understand why they do it this way, and I tell them don't do it this way, and they still do it this way. They look at that and they say, well, the interest rate per period is going to be B3 divided by B4. So that's going to be, let's see, 0.06, which is 6%, divided by 12. Oops, I didn't do that right. Sorry about that. I got to put an equal sign in front of that. And there's 50%. Is that right? Yes, that's the right answer, but that's not the right formula. And if you put that in this homework assignment, I'm going to give you a 0 on it. Okay? What I want you to do is don't put in hard numbers. I want you to put in cell referencing. So it's going to equal 6 divided by B4. There it is. Hey, same thing, 12% or 50%. Okay. However, I want to show you something. I want to show you why I don't want to do it that way. I'm going to take away B4, which is the 12, and add a hard 12 there. Okay. Again, if you do this, you're going to get a 0 on this assignment. But I'm going to leave it there because I want to show you something when I get done doing this. Okay. Number of years. Most loans and mortgage loans can be, it used to be 15 and 30 years. Now they've got these 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-year loans. Okay. This family wants to have their number of years. They want to pay it off in 20 years. So that's a hard number. No, total number of payments for the entire loan is going to be nothing more than the number of years times the number of payment per year. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in here again equals B6 times, and I'm going to again put the 12 in there. Okay, that's wrong, but I'm going to show you why. Okay, I'm going to do it the right way here in a second, but I want to show you that that's why this isn't going to work. Okay, the loan amount, the first initial loan amount was $200,000. That's a hard number. Okay, there's no calculation. It's a hard number. All right, then the book says to go to the payment thing. I want you to look up here in the top here, and this is my formula, my insert function, my formula tab. It's got all these formulas here. It's got recently used. We'll look at all these things we've used before. Financial, if you're in that accounting department, this is what you want to know about. Logical, if and or. We're going to use a lot of these here pretty soon for a couple weeks. Test, time, date. Here's math and trig. We used to do standard deviation stuff. It would take us an hour and a half to do. Now I can do standard deviation in 3 minutes. I wish this was around when I was your age. Anyway, so we want to go search for it. I want to show you how we search for it. I go up here to the FX box, our function, insert function box, and I get this dialog box. Okay, it says type in a brief description of what you want to do, then click go. Okay, I'm just going to type in payment, and I'm going to see what Excel gives me, and it gives me this payment. Well, that's what the book says to use, but let's read. It says calculate the payment for a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate. That's what we want. So I'm going to double click on this, and a dialog box opens up. Again, I know the book says that basically just type in equals PMT parentheses, the 3 cells, close the parentheses, and there's your payment. But I want you to see this. I want you to use the dialog box the first time. Okay? The rate. The rate is the interest rate per period for the loan. Okay. For example, use 6% divided by 4 for quarterly payments. If you type in there 6 divided by 12, you'll get a 0 on this. I want you to use cell referencing. We've already figured out what the period interest rate is, and that's in B5. So I click on B5. Then I go down here to the number of periods. Again, the number of periods, we figured it out. The total number of payments for the loan. Okay, it's 20 years times 12 payments, and it's right there. It's 240. If you type in 20 times 12 here, you'll get the right answer, but you won't get credit for this assignment. You have to put in a cell reference. Okay, and then the present value of the loan. They're looking at a $200,000 loan. Okay, you can type in $200,000 in here, you'll get the right answer, but you'll get 0 on this assignment. I want you to put a cell reference in there. These last 2 variables are optional. You can tell they're optional because they're not bolded. These 3 are bold, these 2 are not. Therefore, they are optional. So you don't have to put them in. Okay, so I click on OK, and there's my number. For a $200,000 loan, paid off over 20 years at 6% annual interest rate, you'll pay $1,432 a month. Okay. Now Excel says that this is a financial number, so therefore it shows it as a cash outflow. It's a payment, so it's a negative. Okay. I don't want it to be a negative. I want it to be a positive. I want to look at a positive. So I have to go up here and change this from a negative to a positive by making it a double negative. Okay. The easy way to do that is to go up here to my formula, and where it says equals P, I go between the 2 of them and I type in a minus sign. When I type in that minus sign, it takes a negative, adds a negative, and now it's a positive number. Okay, so why did I tell you to do it wrong? Let me show you why. Okay. What if we have 6% interest rate, but now we can get a home loan now for less than 4%, right? Okay. So if I type in 4 here, watch what happens to my total. Watch what happens to this number here when I type in 4. It automatically changes because my interest rate lowered. Okay. That's why we use cell referencing. We don't go in here and say that we want to use the actual real number 4. Okay. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What if I want to make 24 payments a year? What if I want to make a payment every 2 weeks? Don't laugh. Some people do that. They want to do that. You pay off the loan a whole lot faster when you do that. So if I go in here and I say, well, gosh, I want to make 24 payments. So if I go up here and I make 24 payments, it didn't change anything. Anybody know why it didn't change anything? Hands, please. Hands, anybody? This is why it didn't change anything. Because when I went to this number here, I didn't say reference B4. I said 12. So if I wanted to go change this to make it 24, I've got to physically go into B5 and change it to 24. Well, that could be a pain, especially in a long, drawn-out worksheet. Okay, so I'll go back to 12. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to correct this. I'm going to change that 12 to what I want it to be, which is B4. Okay, so we had 240 payments for the life of the loan, and we figured that out by multiplying the number of years by 12. Well, what if I want to have a 30-year loan? Okay, well, it's going to change that. But again, what if I change that to 24? This didn't change because this is a 12. So I'm going to go back here and change that to B4. Okay. Now watch what happens. See how it dropped now? The 4% dropped everything down. Now I'm going to go to 24 payments per year. And when I press enter, watch that 1211 drop down to 605. Okay. That doesn't mean $605 per month. It means $605 per payment, which is every 2 weeks. Okay, am I saving much money? Doesn't look like it, but it's going to cut the loan nearly in half. Okay, when we get to the 9th week, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet, and if you're a homeowner, you're going to understand that when you've had your home for 15 years, you're starting to pay it down, why the bank calls and tells you they want you to refinance. I'll tell you that in a minute. So anyway, this is how we do that. Let me go back to my original numbers. That's the number we want you to have in there. That's how we do payment. Learn how to do payment. When we get into here, I want cell referencing. When you're doing anything here, I want cell referencing. Okay, I do not want you to say that this is going to be 20 times 12. I don't want you to say this is 6 divided by 12. Okay, I want cell referencing in there. All right, good luck.